Hey folks, and welcome to week 13. All right, we've got two turn-in dates this week, Monday and Thursday. Do note that's not Saturday and Thursday, which is what we've typically been doing. I wanted to give you the weekend to think about the SA4 assignment, which is what we're going to start this week. But also, more importantly than that, I also want to give you the opportunity to finish up SA3 if you haven't already done that. So have a little bit of breathing room. We'll do Monday and Thursday as our two turn-in dates this week. You can see this is really all about SA4. We're going to spend the rest of the semester working on SA4, which is our long research project. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bits and pieces of this. You can see all of this is just sort of laid out here. All right, so here we are, the SA4 assignment. So ordinarily, in 102, I would give my students a research topic to work on, or a couple of different research topics to work on, and ask you to do some research here. But part of English 102 is about information literacy, about understanding the information need, finding and analyzing the answers, and presenting that material in what's really a written report. So part of that, of course, is identifying the information need, discovering a topic, knowing where there is a question. So SA4 is going to be a 7 to 10 page investigative rather than informative and rather than persuasive research paper. And I want us to focus a lot on that whole thing about investigative. It means we're trying to answer a question. We're not giving information that is already out there. We aren't trying to persuade someone. We are trying to answer a question to which the answer is unknown. And the other thing here is I want to note here is that it should be focused on solving a practical problem. Now, there's another video back in this week called Research Process. I know everyone wants to skip over that because they're like, well, we've already done research. But it's really about understanding the steps that scientists really go through in developing a research question. It's going to be really helpful for SA4. So please watch that video. Okay? It starts with a practical problem and works its way to a practical solution. So in the proposal, I'd like you to propose a topic and a research question, your information need. It'll be laid out in a one-page document. I'll show you guys all that in a moment, okay? If you've got unresolved questions that you discovered working earlier this semester, in one of your research papers and you want to focus in on it in more detail, that is fine. Okay, there's some detail here about the proposal, but I kind of want to show you some bits and pieces. So number one, some quick hints here. Don't consider topics that are merely informational. Like, how can we stop obesity? We know the answer to that. Okay, more exercise, fewer calories. Okay, what's the best treatment for lupus or pretty much any common medical ailment? Like, once you're diagnosed, doctors have a playbook. We know this is the best course of treatment. That's what science tells us. Showing more detail, sharing this with your audience, just informational, okay? You do, however, want to focus on some very specific issues or problems that need to be addressed, okay? What technological innovation can do the most to decrease traffic fatalities? Okay, that's a very specific question. If we think about this, there's a bunch of questions that go into that. Where do most traffic fatalities happen? What's the cause of them? What could we do to address that? Okay, we can see practical problem here. Traffic fatalities. Lots of people are dying in car crashes. Very practical, very specific problem. Okay, I want to kind of go back to the rest of this week's work and talk you through that, and then I think we'll understand SA4 a little bit better. Okay, so what all do we have going on this week? So here's the assignment that I just showed you. And then here's that research process video that I discussed. Now, again, this isn't about how to research. It's about how to think through forming questions, okay? And it really develops this idea of moving from a practical problem to a practical solution. So everybody needs to start with some practical problem, and then we turn that into a research question, okay? And the research process video actually walks you through how we can do that. So that's such an important video this week. Now, on Monday, I actually want us to write and submit the SA4 intro. This is something I'm trying this semester. I'm doing this in my other classes as well. Why have the intro written before the proposal comes in, right? But one thing we've learned with SA3, I think, is that the introduction is really about identifying the problem. right? In essay 3, it was about explaining the meme, explaining the news article, what claims it made, and what the problem is. That if we pass this information on, we could be contributing to misinformation, unless it's accurate. Okay, and so that we need to go do the work to figure out if it's accurate. Essay 4, again, because it's solving a practical problem, the only thing we need to know for that introduction is what's the practical problem? What's the scope of that practical problem? So I'm actually going to have folks turn in Essay 1 Introduction on Monday, and we'll actually, in class on Thursday next week, do some work going over folks' intros, okay, and talking about where can we see the scope. Can we see how big of a problem is, how many people are affected by it, these sorts of things. Again, Essay 4, because we're going to work on solving a practical problem, that intro really is about what the current situation of that practical problem is. Okay, then for next Thursday, we are going to have a proposal come in. There's a template as per usual. I want to show you the sample. This came from one of my students. I'm going to try to move this just a tiny bit. There we go. Who started initially with with Essay 3, just a meme that claimed that pot was better for depression than prescribed antidepressants. Made this a meme made this claim. She started investigating a little bit, was able to sort of answer that question broadly, but really wanted to dig in and actually do a full research project about what the research on marijuana as a treatment for depression and anxiety actually says. So this is her proposal. Again, we see a subject, a practical problem. We get some specifics here. This is when I talk about scope, what I mean. 13% of Americans are on antidepressants, many of which have significant negative side effects. A long explanation about why it matters. What the research question is cannabis a viable treatment option for individuals who've had adverse side effects to psychiatric medication? So this is a very specific research question. And then the parameters. What are we looking at? Okay. What specifically pieces of this are we considering? In my paper, I plan to explore the advantages and disadvantages of using marijuana as opposed to psychotropic medications to treat depression and anxiety using research. All right, to answer that question. So that is a sample proposal, just to give you an idea of what these should look like. All right, so template, proposal, sample, and then the proposal folder. So this is all about getting prepped for Essay 4. Again, finishing up Essay 3 if you need to, not a worry there. This is our big research project, so I want you to think about a practical problem that really troubles you, that you would like to find a way to solve, and that you are interested in doing research on. One of the things I've always said about this class is the great thing about it is we've got the ability to learn how to do research on things that actually matter in our lives. So I want you to pick something that matters in your life. Okay? As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.